guys, I got my book, Giraffes Can't Dance, and I'm going to read it to you. We're going to do some reading comprehension. What that means is that I'm going to read the story and then I'm going to stop and ask you questions and see if that you were listening and you knew what was happening in the story. It's important that when we read things that we're listening for the details so that we can answer questions about them later. All right, so this is Giraffes Can't Dance. Gerald was a tall giraffe whose neck was long and slim, but his knees were awfully crooked and his legs were rather thin. He was very good at standing still and munching shoots off trees, but when he tried to run around, he buckled at the knees. Now every year in Africa they hold the jungle dance, where every single animal turns up to skip and prance. And this year when the day arrived, poor Gerald felt so sad, because when it came to dancing, he was really very bad. All right, guys, we're going to stop and ask a question. Was Gerald a good dancer? What was something that buckled when he tried to dance? Do you remember what it was? Something that buckled when he tried to dance. Was it his head? No, let's look back and see. He was very good at standing still and munching shoots off trees, but when he tried to run around, he buckled at the knees. Did you remember that it was knees? If not, make sure you pay attention so you can hear. All right, guys, what was held every year in Africa? What did Gerald want to go to? Do you remember? The jungle dance. I'll read the page again. Now, every year in Africa, they hold the jungle dance, where every single animal turns up to skip and prance. All right, let's get some more let's read some more pages and let's see if you can remember some of the things we're teaching. The warthogs started waltzing and the rhinos rock and rolled. The lions danced a tango that was elegant and bold. All right, guys, can you tell me some of the animals I just talked about on that page? Were there giraffes? Warthogs? That's right, there was a warthog. What else? I'll give you a hint. These ones rock and rolled. It starts with a R. Rhinos. All right, and the last one danced a tango that was elegant and bold. Do you remember what animal it was? That's right, it was the lions. All right, here we go. The chimps all did a cha-cha with a very Latin feel, and 8 baboons then teamed up for a splendid Scottish reel. Gerald swallowed bravely as he walked towards the floor, but the lions saw him coming and they soon began to roar. Hey, look at clumsy Gerald, the animals all sneered. Giraffes can't dance, you silly fool. Oh, Gerald, you're so weird. That's not nice. Hey, guys, can you remember that the baboons were dancing, but how many baboons were dancing in their Scottish reel? Was it 5, 8, or 12? 8, let's see. The chimps all did a cha-cha with a very Latin feel, and 8 baboons then teamed up for a splendid Scottish reel. All right, guys, do you remember who made fun of Gerald? Who started laughing and making fun of him when he walked out there? The lions, that's right. Gerald swallowed bravely as he walked towards the floor, but the lions saw him coming and they soon began to roar. All right, let's see what happens. They are not being kind. Gerald simply froze up and he was rooted to the spot. They're right, he thought, I'm useless. Oh, I feel like such a clot. So he crept from the dance floor and he started walking home. He never felt so sad before, so sad and so alone. Then he found a little clearing and he looked up at the sky. The moon can be so beautiful, he whispered with a sigh. Excuse me, coughed a cricket who'd seen Gerald earlier on, but sometimes when you're different, you just need a different song. All right, guys, when people made fun of Gerald, what did he do? Did he stay and dance or did he leave? That's right, he left. But when he was sitting and staring at the stars, what was he staring at? The moon. Who told him that maybe you just need a song of your own? Do you remember what the animal or insect was? Was a cricket. All right, here we go. Listen to the swaying grass and listen to the trees. To me, the sweetest music is those branches and the breeze. So imagine that your lovely moon is playing just for you. Everything takes music if you really want it to. With that, the cricket smiled and picked up his violin. Then Gerald felt his body do the most amazing thing. His hoofs had started shuffling, making circles on the ground. His neck was gently swaying and his tail was swishing round. He threw his legs out sideways and he swung them everywhere. Then he did a backward somersault and leapt into the air. All right, guys, what instrument is the cricket playing? The violin. That's right. Do you remember that from String Day or maybe from the video of Bryn playing her violin? Here we go. Gerald felt so wonderful. His mouth was open wide. I am dancing. Yes, I'm dancing. I am dancing, Gerald cried. Then one by one, each animal who'd been there at the dance arrived while Gerald boogied on and watched him quite entranced. They shouted, "It's a miracle! We must be in a dream! Gerald's the best dancer that we've ever seen." How did you learn to dance like that? Please, Gerald, tell us how. But Gerald simply twirled around and finished with a bow. Then he raised his head and looked up at the moon and stars above. We all can dance, he said, when we find music that we love. All right, guys, when we talked about fairy tales, fables, and folk tales this week, we talked about a moral of the story. If we were to figure out what the moral of the story is from this story, what is it? What did we learn from this story? Let's go back through the story and see if we can remember. Well, Gerald was our character, along with other animals, and he wasn't a very good dancer. But then what happened? He went and learned that if he tried his very best, that everyone can dance some ways. And when he stopped worrying about what everyone else was doing and how everybody else was doing it, then he found out that he was an amazing dancer. All right, guys, thanks so much.